Wanted to introduce this video because it's a little departure from my normal videos. So this is an interview, and there are three important things about this. Number one, it's an interview with John, and it was pretty impromptu, so he's just giving these answers right off the top of his head. Two, John is going to be talking about speaker building, and specifically he's going to be mentioning the Jim Holtz statement speaker build. And so if you want to see video of that, there's some at the beginning and there's also some at the end. So stay tuned through the whole video and you'll be able to see it. Number three, if you have questions about the speaker build, let me know in the comments and I can follow up with John and try and get some answers for that. Thank you so much for your time and enjoy the video.
Yeah, I think that there's segments of audiophiles. More musically inclined audiophiles that love music. They know music, write music, listen to music. And I'm on the geekier end of audiophiles where I love the engineering of sound. I'm a builder and I absolutely love to listen to the results of audio engineering. So yes, the shorter answer is yes. I would consider myself an audiophile, more technically inclined than musically. Yeah. It's been 18 years, I would say, that I had a friend, his name's Mick Burlington, and he had a Marantz receiver with an early surround sound system, 5-channel with a subwoofer, and which really literally and figuratively opened my eyes and my ears to the technical prowess of high definition, both sound and video. And that was kind of the birth of my interest. And from there we went to a definitive audio show in Bellevue, Washington. And it was all over from there. I couldn't look at standard screens or listen to standard TV speakers again. They were rubbish. Simply from a cost benefit and that I had the basic skills. So I had no passion to do engineering of speakers or crossovers and or unique creative speaker design. I simply wanted a price accessible access point to consistently hit that audiophile sweet spot, to hear the sounds that I wanted to hear and not spend $10,000+ on a pair of speakers. And so I immediately started searching for designs and started to dabble in looking at engineering my own design as well, but really landed on some designs that were proven with proven drivers, with a lot of time in the real world where others have built those speakers. And so, yeah, that was the driver to get into building my own speakers, was just getting the most sound out of the money that I had and using the skills that I have in building to accomplish it. The highs is when you're done and the result is pure and you can't believe that it worked, that everything that you hoped what you would accomplish was accomplished, and you just revel in the sound and the job well done. The lows on that, I would say there's two perspectives. The amount of time. You're using the kind of qualitative judgment of other people's impressions of a build design speaker to align with what you're looking for. So I wanted something that could sing musically. I love voice, so I wanted perfect voice imaging. I wanted broad stage. I didn't have spatial requirements. And then I wanted fast speakers that were efficient enough and fast enough to do home theater. So I wanted like your do-it-all speaker that could bridge video games, movies with acoustic music and with great voicing. And so you find yourself looking at this broad world of forums and different designs and descriptions of people's qualitative perspective of this speaker does these things really well, and then budding that up with how complex is the build. And so there's just all the research and things where you're taking a risk because you've never heard these speakers before. You're going off of the words of others. The commitment to find someone that's built speakers like what you're considering isn't entirely realistic. You're probably not going to drive a few states to join some stranger in their basement who's an audiophile because he's a brother, because they love audio too, but it's a pretty high bar to go and do that. So you're taking a risk because you could build and spend all this time and not get the result that you were wanting. And so thankfully that wasn't the case for me. I would say a low, though, is I started to have signal disruption in the sound out of the speakers. And because I built them, clearly it was my build flaw that was causing this. And so anybody that's done carpentry knows that you see every flaw that you do in your projects, and nobody else knows it's there but you. And there's this kind of ingrown insecurity around your own workmanship as opposed to a factory. And so when I was having problems with the sound of my system, of course I looked to my speakers first. And I pulled the drivers and I inspected the crossover soldered connections, and I tried all of these things, and I thought I impacted the issue at one point by jiggering one connection, and I went down all these rabbit holes, and at the end of the day it was a problem with the amplifier. The monoblock amplifiers I was running, they had the issue and not my speaker builds. And so there's a low high there, a lot of low trying to fix the problem, and then realizing that it wasn't my speaker's problem, and spending a little bit of money on replacement amplification. What did I?
Was it the Outlaw monoblocks?
They were out. How do you know my system better than I? Yeah, they were Outlaw monoblocks. I think 300 watts at 4 ohms, which my speakers, my main speakers here are Jim Holt's Statements, the original Statements design. They've since iterated that design for, if you are more of a dedicated music listener, there's a second iteration out there, and there may be even more further. Once I built these and I heard them, I was done. I didn't need any speakers the world had to offer once I listened to these. But yes, so I had these Outlaw monoblocks driving each of the 3 main channels, and I had a 3-channel Emotiva some time ago that I loved. And I swore that it impacted the sound, that it warmed, and yet I just loved the sound of the system. But when I upgraded to these speakers, I needed more power. And so that 3-channel I sold, which was very easy to do. Emotiva has a great rapport, and went to the Outlaws. Well, I returned back to Emotiva amplification. I'm not. Yeah, what do I have?
Oh, nice. We're looking at a Emotiva Bass X 575? 5175. All right. Nice. And so you've got 2 channels each going.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. Doubling up so they can drive the mains.
Nice, because it's a 5-channel amp with 150 watts or something like that?
I think it's more than that, and at 4 ohms for these speakers.
Nice.
So,
nice.
Yeah, plenty of power.
Yeah.
In this space, which I think is 14 by 25, it could easily fill 2-3 times plus.
Nice.
The space of the room. So
it's working out great.
It's working great. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. That's great. That warms the cockles of my audiophile heart to hear you say that. No, that's great.
I started with a 4 ohm center channel that I just wanted to dip my toes into building, and I had a problem to solve with my TV in my living room where I didn't have a lot of space. I didn't want a full system. And so I just built a little, it's a 5-driver center channel. It was my first build that I finished with that
Almost like a sound bar kind of thing.
It is like a sound bar, but a little bit bigger.
Yeah,
I think it had 3.5 4-inch drivers in it, and then the little dome tweeter. So that was my first project.
Cool.
And
that was based on an Overnight Sensation kind of build, right?
It was.
Yeah. Okay.
It was indeed.
Okay. Cool.
Again, you know my equipment better than I do, which is really funny to me because I'm the one that built them. But after with that, there was a crossover involved, and there was kind of that mid and tweed and just some basic baffle construction and using high density MDF, etc. And so after really feeling like, okay, yeah, I can flush mount these drivers, I can route out the insets, I can do everything. I just took the plunge and was like, all right, statements, let's do it. Let's build it. So built my full-size statements, 3/4-inch MDF cabinet, but then finished in 3/8 bamboo flooring. So they weigh a couple 100 pounds a piece.
Tell me, so the story of getting these actually into the man cave.
Yeah. Let me say they're so heavy that the speaker feet that I screwed into the bottoms of the speaker, when we went to move the speakers, they collapsed on themselves. Just the spikes folded in on themselves. So, so a friend who is a literal bodybuilder came over, and we hoisted them up from the shop and walked them in here. But they move very little in the years that I've had them. But yeah, no, the statements, I pretty much went straight to those after that early build. And then I wanted something a little simpler for the living room. And so I built these little full range bamboo speakers, 3/4 bamboo box. I want to say it was one of the pen designs that was out there. But
now, is it a Mark Audio driver?
It is.
Okay,
yeah.
Nice. And then
with the kid punch-in center, which is a special feature for us dads that know it so well.
Yeah, for sure. And then you've got the tube amp next to it that you use to power it.
Yeah, and that's a hybrid digital tube, and
it's a mono price, right?
Correct. Warms the sound, and it's a nice match for the full range speaker that has very little power requirement.
Now tell me about the center channel, because you've got this beefy center channel here.
Yes, this center channel is not the original Jim Holtz center design for the statements. This was another design that an audiophile did and offered up for the rest of us to benefit from. And I just, I love these Dayton woofers. One of the characteristics I love is just a really tight mid and low range that doesn't need subwoofer assistance to really hit for music. And I liked the parity of the mains in the center having the same ultimate speakers, the two mids, the two woofers, and the ribbon tweeter.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. If you have ideas for other videos I could do, put them in the comments down below. Thanks.